Welcome to our virtual reality horror experience where I'll be demonstrating each of the following points. Starting with ergonomics. Before the development of the game, we thought about how we're going to incorporate comfortable interactions for the player, considering factors like hand positioning, movement mechanics, pickup and button placements that have been shown in the UI displays for the main menu as well as the sleep menu, with pickups being placed so the player can reach them with ease. The usability, we've implemented UI throughout the game to guide the player and provide instruction whilst traversing through the experience. We've made sure to add level of detail to some assets in fog to optimize game without affecting the aesthetic. For intuitiveness, we've made sure that the player can walk using a toggle stick so they can easily walk around without being confused, as we have to consider that the player is unfamiliar with VR controls. We have implemented the visual effects of the pickup so it's easy to see what is interactable. For plausibility within the virtual world, we've made sure everything is scaled to detail so the player doesn't feel too big or too small. However tall you are in real life will be shown in-game. We've made sure the drag on objects reflects on how hard it is to throw or pick up. We've made sure to find assets that fit the narrative and look believable together. For the sense of presence in the game, we've added fog to the nightmares to give that eerie immersive experience to the game. And also we've used good lighting, and we have 3D audio cues that will aid immersion. Implicit narrative with environment design has been shown by us adding notes with lore and details about the creatures at night. Lastly, in the game we have 3 creatures in the game: a crawler who follows the player outside in the first night. The second night we have a skinwalker who teleports around the map, jump scaring the player, and lastly we have a spider who just sits and randomly screams at the player. All things considered, I think we've orchestrated a scary immersive horror experience for VR that can be played by anyone.
Now that is out the way, I'll be going through everything contributed individually in this project, starting with the house. For the house, I wanted to make sure that the character has a space relatable for the player so they can see that he's just like everyone else. There were a lot of changes made in the floor plan in pre-production, but this layout for the house stayed and I'm happy with it. Next, I worked on the environment for the fog. The fog was the easiest thing to implement in the game, but it's definitely one of the strengths with how it creates such a mysterious vibe to the space. I went for a dark purplish colour fog to add to the suspenseful aesthetic I was going for, and for me it works so well. I also created the skinwalker creature, who in my opinion is definitely the scariest enemy, as it just takes you by surprise and can teleport anywhere around you. I went for a creature that can teleport around you, as it keeps the player in the game and stops them from pretty much daydreaming whilst playing the game. As well as the skinwalker, I also helped out with the spider creature, who was made to be a really weird creature that would just pop out of nowhere and scream at you. He is made more to be an annoyance to the player, which somehow for me fits in the style of the game. Me and Will also went 50-50 on the sound for the game, as we both had our own little inputs. For me, I was in control of ambient sounds that I think added to the game, making it more immersive. And I also did the sound for the skinwalker that had an eerie piano sound every time that it teleported. The final thing I worked on for the project was the notes that attached the player to the story. For this I tried making subtitles, but every time I attempted to script the system it just didn't work with the VR artwork. I'm pretty happy with the amount of work I managed to get done, as I've had a lot to learn and I've used a lot of new tools for the project. But I've enjoyed every minute of it, so yeah, thank you for watching.